Are you feeling disconnected from the people you care about? Are your relationships lacking the depth and intimacy that you crave? You're not alone. Many of us struggle with keeping our connection strong and meaningful, especially as time goes on. We get caught up in our busy lives and forget that the small gestures, the quiet moments, and the subtle touches are what make a bond truly powerful. Think about it. How often do you truly take the time to connect on an emotional level? When was the last time you reached out to someone you care about in a way that made them feel truly seen, valued, and loved? We often overlook the simplest ways to strengthen our relationships, thinking that grand gestures or big changes are needed. But the truth is, the most profound connections are built on the smallest acts of affection. Touching a hand, a gentle kiss on the forehead, a soft hand resting on the waist. These simple touches speak volumes, but only if we know how to use them effectively. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This perfectly captures the essence of what we are about to explore. How small, intentional gestures can deeply color and enrich your emotional connections. In this video, we're going to explore 7 specific areas of the body that can ignite deeper emotional connections, especially in relationships with older women. These areas may seem insignificant, but they hold immense power in building trust, intimacy, and affection. Let's dive into how mastering these gestures can transform your relationships and help you create the emotional connection you've been longing for. Lesson 1. The power of touching the hands. Ignoring the hands as a point of connection is a grave mistake that many men make. The hands are not just for physical gestures. They hold emotional power. When you neglect them, you miss the chance to show intimacy, warmth, and care in the most direct and meaningful way. Touching her hands, or even holding them, is a silent promise of support and affection. Without this gesture, you risk making her feel neglected or emotionally distant. The hands are often an untapped source of connection, and without awareness, you miss the opportunity to let her know that she is truly seen and valued. As the philosopher Plato once said, "At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet." This quote perfectly captures the essence of the hand's power. Touching her hands isn't just about physical contact. It's about creating a bridge of understanding and emotional vulnerability. Holding her hand, or caressing it with gentleness, speaks volumes about your care for her. It's a gesture that says, "I'm here for you. I see you, and I'm not going anywhere." When you hold her hand, do it naturally. Don't rush it. Don't overthink it. Let it flow. Whether you're walking together, sitting close, or sharing a quiet moment, holding her hand creates an undeniable connection. It's simple, yet powerful. When done right, this gesture reinforces trust and affection, creating a safe emotional space between you both. Never underestimate the power of a hand, as it can be a subtle but lasting reminder of your emotional intimacy. Lesson 2. The magnetic appeal of the waist. Ignoring the waist as a point of connection is a huge mistake, especially when it comes to older women. The waist is an intimate yet subtle area, and if you fail to recognize its significance, you miss out on an incredible opportunity to deepen your connection with her. When you neglect this area, you miss the chance to express closeness, affection, and protection. The waist speaks of a bond that goes beyond words. Without it, she may feel emotionally distant or unappreciated, as if you aren't fully attuned to her needs or the intimacy she craves. As the famous philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wisely said, "The most sublime love is the love of the touch." This quote perfectly embodies the power of waist touch. A simple hand resting gently on her waist is a silent and powerful gesture. It's not just a physical touch, it's a signal of emotional connection and trust. When you touch her waist, it shows that you are there to support her, and you're giving her a sense of security and belonging. When you touch her waist, do so gently and confidently. Whether you're walking hand in hand, dancing, or simply relaxing, let your hand rest comfortably on her waist. This is an area that can make her feel cherished and safe. The waist is a perfect place to express not only affection, but also your desire for a deeper connection. Don't rush it. Make it subtle and fluid, a natural part of your shared moments. By showing care and respect for this area, you'll create a bond that goes far beyond the physical, making her feel valued and loved. Lesson 3. The power of touching the cheeks. Ignoring the tenderness of someone's cheeks is a missed opportunity that can lead to emotional distance and coldness in a relationship. Without the gentle touch or affectionate gesture of holding someone's face, you risk appearing distant or indifferent, which can diminish the connection. This simple gesture conveys care and closeness that words often cannot express. When you neglect this, you deprive the other person of a sense of affection and emotional security, leaving the bond between you weaker and less meaningful. As the poet Rumi once said, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." Touching someone's cheek softly is a silent yet powerful action that draws you closer, showing love without the need for elaborate words. It's an acknowledgement of their presence and beauty, an act that reminds them they are seen and cherished. Practicing this lesson is simple yet profound. The next time you are with someone you care for, place your hand gently on their cheek during a heartfelt moment. Let your fingers softly trace the outline of their face, showing affection through the warmth of your touch. You can also use this gesture to convey reassurance during emotional conversations, letting them know you're truly present. This action, when done with intention and care, has the power to ignite deeper trust and love, making your connection almost unbreakable. Don't overlook the cheeks. They hold a world of emotion and meaning in the simplest of touches. Lesson 4. The significance of hair and scalp. Neglecting the gentle care and attention towards someone's hair or scalp can subtly communicate a lack of intimacy or attentiveness in a relationship. The scalp, often overlooked, is deeply connected to relaxation and emotional well-being. When you fail to run your fingers through their hair or gently massage their scalp, you miss an opportunity to create a calming, nurturing experience. Over time, this neglect can contribute to a relationship feeling transactional rather than tender, as the small acts of care that sustain closeness are forgotten. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you lovingly touch or caress someone's hair, it reflects a thoughtfulness that is painted in the soul of your bond. It's a physical act that conveys your thoughts, care, attention, and affection. A soothing touch on the scalp or hair can quiet the mind, ease stress, and strengthen the bond between two people, making them feel loved and valued. To embrace this lesson, take a moment to engage in the simple act of stroking someone's hair or gently massaging their scalp. When they're tired or stressed, offer a moment of reprieve by using your hands to release tension. Use this as a time to connect, ensuring your gestures are soft and unhurried, allowing them to feel cared for. Even a casual act, like brushing their hair or tucking a strand behind their ear, can speak volumes about your love and devotion. Never underestimate the magic of this quiet yet powerful connection. It can transform an ordinary moment into a deeply intimate one. Lesson 5. The power of the collarbone. If you fail to appreciate the elegance of a woman's collarbone, you might miss an opportunity to show deep admiration for her physical form. The collarbone, often regarded as a delicate and graceful feature, is a place where vulnerability and sensuality intersect. Ignoring it or treating it carelessly is a mistake that can inadvertently signal a lack of attention to the details that make a woman feel cherished. Over time, neglecting such gestures can cause the connection between you to feel shallow, lacking the intimacy that thrives on subtle yet meaningful touches. As the famous philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, "A touch is a revolution in the making." The collarbone is not just a physical landmark. It is a place where your touch can make an emotional statement. A tender stroke along the collarbone speaks volumes about your attentiveness and the care you have for her body and spirit. It's an area of beauty and grace that deserves to be acknowledged, creating a subtle yet powerful form of connection. To put this into practice, gently trace your fingers along her collarbone during quiet moments. Whether you're sitting together, resting, or enjoying a conversation, let your touch express admiration and respect for her unique beauty. Keep the contact gentle and intentional, allowing her to feel seen and appreciated. In a world where we often overlook the finer details, taking the time to acknowledge this delicate part of her body can cultivate a deeper and more intimate bond between you both. Lesson 6. The power of the earlobes. Ignoring a woman's earlobes means overlooking one of the most delicate and sensual areas of her body. The earlobes are incredibly sensitive and, when touched properly, can send waves of pleasure and connection. If you neglect them, you're missing an opportunity to create a deep emotional bond. Many men fail to recognize the power of this simple area, thinking it's insignificant, but it's anything but. When you ignore this soft touch, you might unintentionally send the message that you're not truly present or paying attention to her needs. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke said, "The only journey is the one within." This perfectly applies to the earlobes. A simple touch to this sensitive area can open a world of emotional intimacy. It's not just a physical action, but a silent message that you're in tune with her emotions, that you understand the need for subtlety and connection. The earlobe may seem small, but when touched right, it can leave a lasting impact. To practice this lesson, don't rush. Approach her earlobes with softness and gentleness. A light kiss or a soft caress with your fingers can spark a connection far beyond the physical. Be present, be patient, and allow her to feel your attentiveness. These small, intimate touches show that you value her vulnerability and are truly engaged in the moment, making it all the more powerful. Lesson 7. The sensual power of the forehead. Disregarding the forehead as a place to connect is a huge mistake. This part of the body is a symbol of respect and care. When you ignore it, you miss the opportunity to express trust and affection in a way that's gentle yet powerful. A simple touch or kiss on the forehead can be incredibly intimate. Without this gesture, you may unintentionally communicate a lack of emotional depth or intimacy. If you're not aware of how the forehead can speak volumes, you might fail to truly connect in the way an older woman needs. As the great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This quote is a reminder that emotional connections have depth. A gentle forehead kiss isn't just physical. It's a promise that you are there for her emotionally. It shows that you understand her struggles, her history, and the emotional layers that make her who she is. The forehead is where wisdom and experiences are carried, and a simple gesture on this area reveals your genuine care. To master this lesson, take your time. When you feel the moment is right, lightly touch or kiss her forehead with tenderness. It shouldn't be rushed or forced. Show her that you see her, appreciate her, and understand her beyond the surface. This simple yet profound gesture can create a bond that is emotionally charged and deeply fulfilling. When you embrace the forehead as a place to connect, you let her know that your affection isn't just about the physical. It's about valuing her as a whole. As we've explored today, small, intentional gestures have the power to build emotional bridges that create deeper, more meaningful connections. It's not always the grand acts that define a relationship, but rather the subtle, loving touches that speak volumes. From the hand you gently hold to the forehead you tenderly kiss. Each moment of affection is a chance to nurture trust, intimacy, and closeness. Remember, every touch carries a message, whether it's support, admiration, or love. These moments, when embraced thoughtfully, can transform your relationships in profound ways. So, take the time to nurture those small acts of intimacy. Recognize the power in every gesture, and allow your relationships to flourish. If you feel ready to begin making these subtle shifts in your connections, embrace these lessons and let them guide you toward deeper, more fulfilling bonds.